Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. I'm live. Hey y'all. I'm live on social media. How are y'all? Of course, I'm waiting for the algorithm to notice us. Happy Wednesday night. I wanted to come on for a few moments just to talk. Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, so first of all, I want to say hey to everybody that is gonna come on the live, and those of you who are going to catch the replay. I hope that you are well. It's Wednesday, and I'm so very grateful. I actually want to say thank you to those of you who've been watching my videos and following along. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Making content has not been easy. There are some days that I feel like everything's going great, and then there are some days that I don't. But I'm really grateful that you guys have been watching and that we've been growing over here. I try to comment on everything that I see, just because I want you to know that I do appreciate you guys watching. Um, I want to say I had a couple of comments or instant messages about some of the content that I recently posted. Number one, I think the biggest question was, do we really need a pastor? There was a post that we did about leadership in the church, and I really am concerned in that vein. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned that nowadays we don't see the purpose or the benefit of leadership. So I actually wanted to address that tonight, really because I did live a life where I did not have confidence in leadership, and and I didn't see a purpose, or I wasn't really sure. Not necessarily that I need a pastor, but I didn't. I wasn't sure if it was the way that I saw in the scripture. Like I wasn't sure if I saw pastoralship the way that it was in the scriptures in today's culture, Christian culture. And so I wanted to make a difference. So I posted that post. I made that post mainly because I wanted to make sure that I was doing my job, as a fellow believer. There is a lack of confidence as it relates to Christianity, and although it is my belief, and I know that everyone doesn't share my same beliefs, I wanted to make sure that I tackled the conversation just because there is benefit. You know what I mean? There is a benefit. There is a benefit. I see some comments coming in, and But anyway, so did I flip the camera back? No. Okay. So anyway, I think you guys are saying you're not. Where are you from? Let me know where you're from. Um, where are you guys from? Where are you watching from? Okay, so anyway, I wanted to do my due diligence as it relates to Christianity. Um, I wanted to make sure that I was talking about this conversation um, just because I think it's necessary. Um, I know that here, um, I don't necessarily hear it in other places, but here in the US, yes, I do believe that there are lots of scandals and things like that in with pastors and spiritual leaders. But one of the things that I remember a elderly woman telling me years ago, she told me to make sure that I keep my eyes on God and not people, and that honestly has been the biggest um, word of encouragement that I have received in my Christian walk. And so when it comes to pastoralship and spiritual leaders, I think, my mindset has been, I can't be so judgmental because I know that I have flaws too. And I think a lot of times, because there was a period of time where when it came to spiritual leaders and I knew something about them, my mindset would be, I don't want to hear anything from them. I'm not trying to hear anything. And I remember me and my brother joke about this all the time. He says a lot of times, like, if a spiritual leader is not where they need to be, then he can't follow them. And for me, I have changed over the years because I've been in my own spiritual journey and I've been trying to grow. I think I have learned how to have grace for people because I know I need grace. There was a period of time where I knew that I was living in a sin or living in a fault, and because I was living in that fault and I couldn't shake it, I had to commit to just going to God, just making sure that I went to God about it. And the more that I went to God about it, the more that I could, it was like the more I went to God about it, the more God started to change my appetite for this particular thing. And so I realized that I could not do it. And a lot of times I feel like people can be judgmental when it comes to living righteous. It's like people forget, hey, where were you? And so when it comes to spiritual leaders and these people that have fallen by the wayside, there are lots of prestigious or very famous men and women in the gospel who have fallen by the wayside. And I think it's crazy how I look at the responses from a lot of people that's, commenting and commentating on the subjects, and I'm like, man, you would think that we all are righteous and have no fault. And so I'm really surprised at that. And so I want to say, those of you who are struggling with spiritual leadership and not knowing if you could put your trust in spiritual leadership, I want to encourage you to be prayerful that God will send the right people to you. That was one of my biggest prayers. And then the other thing was, I thought that I needed someone to help me dissect the scriptures and understand the scriptures. And I had to realize that I wasn't gonna, you don't learn the alphabet in one day. Most people, it takes them some time to learn the alphabet. It takes them some time to learn how to read, and so reading the Bible is no different. It's gonna take time, and and so I started to read the word even when I couldn't understand it. I had a lot of times I would have no idea what the scripture is saying or what it meant. And I would just read the word. And eventually, a lot of that stuff started to stick. And so when I started looking for a spiritual leader, I wasn't so pressed to find a spiritual leader because I was reading the word for myself. And whatever I didn't understand, I would pray about it. And eventually, God would put me in a position where I would know, what needed to be said or what the scripture was saying. I would know what I needed to get from it. So, no, you're not leaning to your own understanding, but you're doing what you need to do until you actually get the revelation of the word. So when it comes to spiritual leaders, and I want to address the comment that I got about that post, yes, you can read the word for yourself. You don't need someone to tell you what scriptures mean. You don't have to have someone. God can show you and give you understanding without you having to rely on someone. However, it is the same God who established spiritual leadership. God established it. When he established the church, he established a spiritual order. And so because of that, we have spiritual leaders. And so again, I want to say trust the process. If you yes, we all should have a spiritual leader, because the scripture shows examples of it. But how that comes, we don't always know. But just continue to read your word, and God will lead you to the people, or the people God will bring to your path, and you'll have what you need. If you're listening, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a couple of seconds. Thank you for your comments, Kiki. I appreciate you saying inspiration is a thing of mine. It's something that I have. Maybe one day I'll tell my story. But inspiration has been what has kept me going. And so I love to provide inspiration to those who come in contact with me or cross my path. So I appreciate you guys listening. I love y'all, and see you next time.